Welcome to Nothing Media. Welcome to Non-Duality Quotes. We will talk about a whole bunch of quotes, and then Tim will be commenting on the quotes. Just a reminder that Tim has a weekend retreat coming up in July 24th and 25th. If you would like to get some more information, you can go to timclisthis.com. Let's get started. Let's start with the quote from a very famous non-duality speaker. The quote is, "The illusion is that there are two of everything, that there are opposites, that there's a dichotomy between this and that, now and then, and you and me." Tim CLISS.
I thought, oh, I like that. That's good. Who said that? Oh, that's very clever, Emerson. Yeah.
Would you like to expand on that?
Wow, that says it all.
Okay, good.
Oh no, that's great. It's funny. I was thinking, wow, I could have said that.
I should have not said who said that. So
oh, that was funny. Oh, that was good.
This one is from Ramana Maharshi. The only language able to express the whole truth is silence.
Well, yeah, and of course, there's no truth in silence because it's not speaking any truth. But that can be misleading because it can sound as though silence is closer to the truth than noise, that speaking is less true than not speaking. But sound and silence are not two. Emptiness and everything are not two. Emptiness and fullness are equally true and neither true. There is no knowing the truth. And I would say that I don't disagree with the statement, and yet I could get a sense that it could mislead someone to believe that silence is closer to the truth than noise or sound or speaking. Really, what it's pointing to is that this can't be heard. And when I use the term or thought, the thought came up of deafening silence, and I used it as a title for my book and for the website. It's that this is always silent no matter what sounds are occurring. Silence is always the same. It's just another way of saying emptiness is the fullness. Silence is the sounds. And really all that is saying is that this is unknowable. And the illusion is that you know the difference between silence and sounds.
Brilliant, thank you. Let's go to the next one. Sorry, did you want to add some more?
I don't know.
Yeah, I did pick the silence because of your book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the silence is always, regardless of the sounds. The sounds are equally silent.
Let's go to Adyashanti. Adyashanti goes, when you go inside, you're going into your aloneness. Nobody can go there with you.
The whole illusion is that you could go inside and outside, or outside. There simply is no inside and outside. All is empty. Emptiness inside, emptiness outside. There simply is no inside and outside. Everything is equally empty. But the word aloneness, there is this alone. The completeness and the wholeness is that this is all and nothing. There simply isn't anything else. There is nothing else. So there is neither something else nor nothing else. And so that's completely alone. And so the aloneness that I took to be mine, and so I felt lonely, is just the nature of life, life alone, which includes death. There's nothing outside or inside, just this alone.
Beautiful, thank you. This one is from Robert Adams. Be still, stop struggling, enter the holy shrine of your heart, and there find peace and joy. You have always been perfect and you will always be perfect. There's absolutely nothing you have to delete or add. Robert Adams.
Mm-hmm. It sounds lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a real, I mean, that is, wow.
But
But what Robert's doing is he's saying it's for you, it's just something else for you to do, to go inside, to go into your heart, it's more work. It's something else for me to do. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's really beautiful, but you don't have a heart. I don't have a heart. There is, again, there's all this false dichotomy between heart and mind, or head and heart. It's the same duality as the notion that there's material and spiritual. The material, what we've called material, is the spiritual. What we've called spiritual is the material. There's no knowing the difference. It's a false division. And there is no one to go into the heart.
thank you. This one is from Muji. Well, welcome the one that has kissed you from within. It is from inside everything comes. Muji.
Yeah, well, I've really spoken about that already, that the whole of illusion of self, of me-ness, this sense that I am separate, and the reason I'm separate, the reason I am, is that I am inside and everything else is outside. So I am a thing inside and everything else is outside. So Muji's there saying that this comes from me, from within me, inside. The whole illusory separation, the sense of duality, is there's me and everything else. And there isn't. There's no knowing inside and outside. The illusion that I know myself and I am inside is the whole illusory setup of being me.
Thank you. This one I like, actually, from Wang Po. People are scared to empty their minds. I like Wang Po. People are scared to empty their minds, fearing they will be engulfed by the void. What they don't realize is that their own mind is the void. Wang Po.
What was the first part again?
I'll repeat. People are scared to empty their minds, fearing they will
Oh,
be engulfed by the void.
oh
What
yeah.
they don't realize is that their own mind is the void. Wang Po. I haven't heard that quote before, but I've read some of Wang Po before.
Right. I have no doubt that what self is most afraid of is the void. But then to say that my own mind, your own mind is the void is simply just playing more of the game of duality, that so that I've made me the problem, and therefore I can find a solution to my problem. That's not really what wants to be said here at all. Is that the whole setup of my problem, my mind, my potential solution is all an illusion. But I can't agree more with the statement that what self is most afraid of is emptiness, is nothingness, is complete non-existence, the dark. It's not by chance that most children from an early age of when their embryonic self is forming, what is that self most afraid of? Not knowing, not seeing, the dark. And yet the dark is nothing to fear. Nothing is nothing to fear.
Brilliant. I like that. I like that. This one is from Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. I am timeless being. I am free of desire or fear, because I do not remember the past or imagine the future. Nisargadatta Maharaj.
Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the big spiritual myths, is that I could be free of desires and that I could be free of memory of the past, of my story. That's not what's being suggested, or what wants to be suggested. Memory is completely natural. With brain damage, you could probably eradicate memory, but memories are what they are. Memories simply appear when they appear. Desire appears as it appears. The illusion is that they're mine. There is no ownership of memory, which is the past, is no more than memory. What else is it? A story. And desire is, again, I mean, human animals are mammals with desires. And the difference between humans and a dog is that a dog doesn't put it into words. But we, I don't doubt that dogs have desires, but we tell a story about those desires. And so you can also tell a story that you could be free from them. There is no one to have desires, nor to have a past, but there is memory that appears. There is desire that appears. It's completely free, freely appearing. This isn't about making yourself a cloudless sky. Clouds appear, clouds of memory, clouds of desire, clouds of emotion, just appear and disappear. But they're empty, as well as being what they are.
Beautiful, thank you. This one is from Rupert Spira. The discovery that peace, happiness, and love are ever present within our own being and completely available at every moment of experience under all conditions is the most important discovery that anyone can make. Rupert Spira.
Mm. Again, sounds lovely. I will say that what's being spoken of here doesn't feel in any way like a discovery. There's nothing to be discovered, because what that suggests is that it's covered and it could be revealed. We're not speaking of a revelation. We're speaking of life as it is, in all its glorious ugliness, as well as all its beauty. Now, I'm not disagreeing entirely, that there is this peace that passes all understanding. And the reason it passes all understanding is because it's regardless of what's appearing. But you can't know that. It's not that then there is this peace that's known, that's always, that's aware, that there is an awareness of this peace. The peace can't be spoken of. Now, this is a pathetic attempt to try and speak of it, but it just is. The best I'd have to say is that emptiness is always in the fullness. The fullness is the changing, and emptiness is changeless. And the changing and the changeless are not two. But the changing is constantly just unknowably appearing and disappearing. But that's nothing, appearing and disappearing.
Thank you. This one is from Ganga Ji. Be still and know yourself as the truth you have been searching for. Be still and let the inherent joy of the truth capture your drama and destroy it in the bliss of consummation. Be still and let your life be lived by the purpose you were made for. Be still and receive the inherent truth of your heart. Ganga Ji. Sounds lovely as well, right?
Beautiful. No, it is beautiful, but it's still, be still, don't be moving, stop doing what you're doing. You know, it's still an instruction that there is someone to be still and there's someone to be moving or to be busy. The stillness is regardless of the happening. So happening is movement, stillness and the movement are not two. So regardless of movement, there is no, I would never dream of telling someone to be still, because it's another instruction. You've been under the instruction of yourself, or the human being has had endless instructions of how to improve itself, or to be happy, or to be at peace, or to be okay with themselves. And all of that is so radically different from saying there is no one to be okay or not okay. There is no one to be still or to be busy. Stillness is regardless of what's happening. In fact, the stillness is what's happening, stillness moving.
Thank you for that. When I was a meditation teacher, I used to have this quote book that I held on to, and I would write all of these quotes in beautiful calligraphy and cherished it. And then I would, you know, quote something from Brahmana or Nisargadatta with the word be still.
Yeah.
After my meditation, and everybody would be like, oh, wow. But I've thrown that book away.
Well, well, the thing is, I'm never going to say that, you know, there's a problem with meditation, or
Me
there's a
too.
problem,
Me
or
too.
there's a
Me too.
problem with being still. Being still rather than, or stilling thoughts, or taking a break from me's list of jobs it needs to do, can be hugely beneficial and therapeutic for self. This message is not therapeutic for self. And what most of what you've been speaking about, most of the quotes that you've given, although they are seen as non-duality quotes, they are about being more peaceful, being more at rest, being happier. What wants to be said here is there is no one to be happier or to be more at rest. This is at rest when it's at its most hectic, when it's at its most... This is empty when it's most full. And all attempts to empty out, to still, are just more me, more, well, I need and I will benefit from being more still. There is no one to gain benefit from those, is what wants to be said. But while there is a sense of agitation, that activity of stilling and resting can feel great. But, you know, you might feel better for, you know, 3 rounds sparring in a boxing ring as you would as with a meditation. One might actually bring more peace and rest. Who's to say?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't have anything against meditation, though. So people think that
No.
that you know, if it happens, it happens. And there's
Yeah.
yeah.
No, and there's
Yeah.
no doubt there's millions of people feel better for it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah. But if people are using meditation to attain, you know,
No.
the so-called enlightenment, that's when I
Yeah.
have something to say.
Yeah.
This one is from Adi Shankara. Reality can be experienced only with the eye of understanding, not just by a scholar. Adi Shankara.
By the eye of understanding.
I'll repeat. Reality can be experienced only with the eye of understanding, not just by a scholar. The vision of an, you know, eye.
There's no sense that reality can be experienced. Understanding is always relative. Experience is always relative in relation to. One of the most disturbing and aspects of this that we're speaking of is that it may become unbearably obvious that all of your knowledge, all of my knowledge, all of my understanding was for nothing, was absolutely empty of any intrinsic value or worth. And there is no reality to get closer to or further away from. Every drop of understanding and knowledge that I thought I'd gained was seen to be what it was, absolutely empty. And in that, is the peace that passes all understanding.
Beautifully said. I like that one. This one is from Osho.
Oh, sure.
Osho, yeah. Reality has no security, and that is its beauty. Life has no security, and that is its beauty. Because there's no security, there is adventure. Because the future is unknown, nobody knows what is going to happen the next moment. That's why there's challenge, growth, and adventure. If you miss adventure, you miss all. If your life is not that of an adventure, of a search into the unknown, then you are living in vain. Osho.
Well, there's a story.
I agree.
I mean, well, I can see how if self took that on board, then it could feel quite liberating for self. You know, my life is an adventure, and the future is unknowable, and so it's this great open field where that I could walk anywhere in. You know, there's infinite paths await me. I mean, it's the great fantasy of self. There simply is no future. That's probably the most devastating aspect of this, is that the future is seen for the story that it is, the imagined fantasy. And of course, that's what self does. It can't imagine that I won't go on. It seems very obvious now that human beings as selves have imagined time, and time in a linear fashion where the past has gone and we're in the present and the future lies ahead of us. But of course, that whole notion of future is most suffering. Most suffering for selves. There is guilt of the past that I know that is very powerful for suffering for a lot of selves. But the biggest fear is anxiety. Anxiety about what the future, what my future could be, will be, what lies ahead of me. The most dreadfully liberating aspect of what we're speaking of is that there isn't anything lying ahead of you. There isn't a you to have a future, and there isn't even a future without you. Neither, both are just fantasies. Now, I know I've spoken to people about non-duality who have made this a new fantasy of their future when they're no me's. That's very attractive because I've had enough of me. I'm sick and tired of being me. I want freedom from myself. There is no freedom to come from yourself. There is no self to be free from. There is no one to become a no one.
Brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, I do have someone that calls me that tells me, Emerson, I can't wait when there's no me anymore. It's like the me wants to go underground and become a no me, but it's still a me trying to become, trying to pretend that there's a me, a no me, and it's just gone underground. It's just kind of like gone a little bit of what do you call it, a pretending.
Yeah, because this can sound. I mean, a lot of people. I've heard it a lot that that life would be okay without me. My life would be okay without me. I mean, but probably the most, and this is devastating that there isn't a future. But everyone knows this. This is not really any news to anyone that there is. If you say there's no future, nearly all human beings would argue, and then you just ask them to, well, have you been there? Have you seen it? Do you know? And it's like, well, no. Well, what are we speaking of? And it can hit like a sledgehammer that is just imagination and desire and fear. So you can fantasize about a terrible future and then you've got endless fear and anxiety, or you can fantasize about a wonderful future with great adventures that Osho spoke about. And of course, one is preferable over the other, but this isn't interested in your preferences.
Thank you. This one is from Eckhart Tolle. Observe your thoughts, don't believe them. Eckhart.
Yeah, again, I mean, that could be helpful to self, to feel detached from the thought rather than being the thought. Being the thought, when self feels that I am the thoughts are me. If I can get some distance between me and the thought, immediately I will feel more comfortable. Depending on what the thoughts are. If they're beautiful thoughts, then I want to dive straight in them, of course, self does, you know. I'll drown in those beautiful thoughts of love and beauty, but there's no one to detach from thoughts, and all games of detachment are more games for me. But again, I'm not saying that's not a problem. I mean, a lot of psychotherapy is like that. For self to be, if I can step away and not feel I'm drowning in these thoughts, you know, it's all about a little bit more security for me. And the more distance I get, self gets, feeling that it's stepped away from what it's afraid of, then I feel a little bit safer. And that's really all that self is ever about. I want to feel secure in this completely anarchic, unknowable, absolute insecurity, which is life.
Beautiful, thank you. This one is from Shunya Suzuki. Leave your front door and your back door open. Allow your thoughts to come and go. Just don't serve them tea.
Yeah, that's nice. I remember reading that and being amused. It's really nice. Yeah, don't entertain them. Don't give them cake. Again, it sounds nice, but there is no one to entertain them. If they seem to be entertained, then they're being entertained. There is no one doing the entertaining, or they're saying, I think it's time you left now. It's just all more control, more sense of what me likes, which is managing. And there is no manager. If it seems as though there's, compared with how it used to be, I now let thoughts straight out the back door, whereas I used to just keep speaking to them and having a dialogue with them. If that's what's happening, that's just what's happening. You never did any of that. That doesn't mean to say it can't be what's happening. But the trouble with self is it makes all of that significant. Now I'm getting somewhere. Now I'm being more. Now I'm managing my thoughts better. There is nothing self loves more than being more in control.
Thank you. This one is from Ramana Maharshi. I got actually in a little bit of trouble when I did a whole bunch of these quotes with Kenneth, with Andreas. Some Ramana people called me and said that I was being disrespectful. I apologize for that. But what I did is I did these quotes before, and they sent me a website that basically was all about practices and all of that stuff. So Kenneth and I had fun with that. I used to revere all of these speakers, teachers, you know, in a high pedestal like Ramana and Nisargadatta. But
Yeah.
but seeing that everything is nothing, that there's no one here, it also means there's no Ramana and there's no Nisargadatta.
Well, there's stories, yeah.
There's stories, yeah. Beautiful stories though.
And of course, you know, there's yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really about the end of reverence. There can be no human beings on pedestals. There is no one who could know more about the unknowable. There is no one that could understand the ununderstandable, the non-understandable. This is past understanding. That's the whole message. The whole message is that life is unknowable. And there isn't a way to not knowing. You could say not knowing is, you could say the natural state. And the illusion is that I am one who knows. And I know some, but there are others who know more. And knowledge will bring me closer to what I most desire. Now, I don't really know what I most desire, but I've heard about it from those masters who know. And I just long to be where they are. Never hearing that they're not in a place.
And that's right. I used to listen to this Nisargadatta quotes over and over and over again, and repeat in loop, and hoping that one day I will get this. One day I will get there.
Yeah.
One day this will be understood by me. These
Yeah.
are all riddles to me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to, you know, do the self-inquiry, do the I am, that, you know, and all that kind of stuff with Ramana. And I laugh at it now because, you know what, it sounds really silly to me now, what I did before, you know, kind of like repeating all of this, you know, thinking that there's a source or there's a an authority. So I looked at the authority of these teachers and really revered them and put them on a pedestal. And then when it's seen that everything is just this, it becomes comical almost. Like, oh no.
Yeah, it can be comical, and there can also be a grieving as well. There can be a real intense sadness for the loss of dreams, for the loss of the fantasy that I could become like my master. And also there can be a grieving for the master or the mistress, whoever you've made really special, because what we're speaking of, the emptiness lays everything flat. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted the heights. I wanted to ascend to the mountaintop with all the great ones who knew. And there can be a really profound sadness at the obvious impossibility that that could ever happen.
Let's do some more of these quotes.
I don't know if you've frozen, Emerson. I don't know, you know. So you're staring lovingly at me in a frozen fashion. I don't know if you can get.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
good. All right. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on. This one is from Muji. When you drop all of your ideas, fantasies, and projections about who you are and what freedom is and remain completely empty, this is freedom. Muji.
Oh, that's not bad. One I can nearly agree with. But it's not that I become empty. There is just emptiness. You can't see emptiness. Emptiness isn't revealed. emptiness isn't seen, there's nothing to see. It's empty. You only see, the only seeing is the fullness. And that's whatever is seen. And that's all there is.
Oh yeah, thank you. This one is from I'm not trying to be naughty. I'm trying to be kind. But I'm laughing at some of these quotes. Okay, I found one that's a bit easier. Well, this one. The truth is that there is no journey. You're right now that you are attempting to be. You are right now where you are attempting to go. Neil Walsh.
Oh, you'll have to say that one again. I didn't really follow that.
Oh, I'm sorry. The truth is that there is no journey.
Oh, yeah.
You are right now what you are attempting to be.
Mm-hmm.
You're right now where you are attempting to go. Neil Walsh.
One of the things that can be very starkly obvious is that there is no journey. There's a story of a journey. And I'm always loath to talk about a shift, but one of the things that is profoundly different from feeling that I was the one who has been on a journey. Now, if that stops appearing, that sense of being the one who's on a journey and who has been on a journey, is on a journey and has a journey yet to come, there is nothing in its place. It isn't replaced by anything. So where that one who was on the journey used to be, and by the way, the only way of recognizing that is by memory of thinking, oh yeah, I remember how it felt to be the one on the journey. That's why the word emptiness just comes up over and over again, because there is just space where that one seemed to be, used to be. And again, that's not knowable. There isn't anything. There's the story of the journey, just the same. But there is immense difference between the story of a journey, Tim's journey, or Emerson's journey, or anyone else's. And there is great equality in the journeys, the stories of a life. There's a massive difference between that and just a journey, not my journey. My journey adds all the weight, all the gravitas, all the seriousness, all the importance and significance that I place on my life and my journey. This is a full stop. I mean, this journey, there is a seeming continuation of the story and the journey, but as well as the journey continuing, it's also absolutely still. It's full stop. It doesn't carry on. Now that doesn't make sense, I know, but that is the significant, it's not significant, that is the seeming difference. It's really no difference at all, and yet immensely, immeasurably different. That's why it's so hard to speak about.
Beautifully said. Here's a couple more. This one is from Rupert Spira. Love is the discovery that others are not others. Beauty is the discovery that objects are not objects. Rupert Spira.
Oh, that's quite nice, Rupert.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Okay, let's go. People thought that I was, picking quotes that would put the teacher in a bad light. I'm just actually randomly looking at it.
Oh no, I mean, that is beauty.
It
I
is,
mean,
yeah.
that is beautiful.
This one is from J. Krishnamurti. There is no end to education. It is not that you read a book, pass an examination, and finish with education. The whole of life, from the moment you are born to the moment you die, is a process of learning. J. Krishnamurti.
I mean, that's the typical narrative, really. That's the norm narrative right there of self, that I'm on a journey of learning, of becoming. There is no one to become. Now, learning seems to happen, but it's empty. It's learning for no one. Learning can still be fun. Learning is fun. It's really enjoyable. But the problem with knowledge and understanding, which is learning, is that it says to self that I'm getting somewhere, I'm moving forward, I'm becoming better, more worthy, because the whole sense of self is really deeply rooted in this sense of not good enough, not enough, not whole, not complete, this incompleteness. Just because I am little me in this vast universe of other, when there is no me and other. I mean, you could say that's the whole message. There's no me and other than me. That's it, really.
Thank you. This one is the last one from Nisargadatta Maharaj. Having never left the house, you're looking for the way home.
Yeah. Yeah, self is always looking for home. Looking for, and home being this sense of completion, to become okay, to become whole, to become at peace, at rest. So once I get there, then I can stop. I'm not there yet. The whole energy of self is there's somewhere that I can get to where I will be okay, and then I can rest and I'll know when I get there. That's the whole illusion. So if I was saying anything about home, you could easily, I would happily say there is only home. There is no one at home. There's no one to get home. No one left home. No one comes home. Just home.
Beautiful. I think we'll end it there. That's a good ending. Thank you so much, Tim. That was awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll be doing the retreat. All right. Take care.
It's only a week, Emerson. It's only a week.
Only a week. Oh, the 24th and the 25th.
It's only a week. It's only a week. Don't turn up in 2 weeks. No, thanks.
Time.
No, exactly. Bloody time.
Bloody time.
Thanks. I enjoyed that.
Likewise.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you, Tim. And I'll talk to you later. Next week.
Okay.